So we're going to take two tools, the shear hog and a 3/8 inch ball end mill, and hopefully turn that with the 440.
contributing to the raffle. We really appreciate it. Lastly, again, I'll be up here to talk a little bit more later. It is, I think, what time is it? It's almost 10:45. 45. Carl from Lakeshore Carbide, who's got a whole booth set up, is going to do a short talk on carbide tooling, which I'm actually really excited for. And then after that, I'm really excited that we've had so many fellow YouTube machinists and makers make the trip up. Everyone, James Green, Jim Bollinger, Adam Booth, John Grismo, my buddy James from War Machine. We're going to get up here and do a Q&A session. So hopefully.
Nearly 400 people from across the world came to Zanesville today for an open house at Saunders Machine Works. In 2006, Saunders Machine Works started a YouTube channel based on how to use CNC metals and to make metal parts. Years later, that channel grew, and today they're hosting their second annual open house.
Really grown, and it's strange because we spend all our time filming videos, a lot of times right here just looking at a camera, but you take for granted that there's people all over the country and the world that watch and enjoy these, and so it's really cool. We're starting to see this where folks sort of from the internet are getting together in real life and in person, and in this case they get to see some of the machines and software and parts that we've made and touch them and see them. And
Saunders says during the open house, the guests learned about the different softwares they use to control the machines.
Folks from Autodesk here that are doing training sessions on using the software that we use to control the machines. The machines we use are from a company called Tormach. They're here and they're donating to the raffle, showing how their CNC milling machines work. Folks that run tapping arms, the folks that make the power equipment that you use, and whether you're in a garage shop, a big shop, a small shop.
To learn more, you can follow their YouTube page at the link at the bottom of your screen.
The proper chip load. If you're cutting the right chip load, that tool will perform fine at 5,000 RPM. The only thing you have to watch out for running at the slower RPM is that you maintain proper chip evacuation. The tool is spinning a little slower. It's not throwing the chip quite as far. So you want to make sure that chip evacuation is maintained with as strong a coolant blast as you can put on it, or an air blast, something like that. But I think a lot of people seem to be afraid that they can't run a specific tool because they don't have the RPMs, and that's just not the case. You can really run those things successfully. That's something to keep in mind when you're putting together your shopping cart.
Even like the really tiny tools. Like I like to make tiny little parts and they got to be perfect. On the Tormach, I was running 20 thou end mill from you at 5,000 RPM, and normally you'd want to run it at 50,000 RPM. But you can do it. That's the point. You know, you just get your speeds and feeds right and ask them questions.
If you guys want to ask questions, throw your hands up, and when you grab the mic, it's really awkward how close you have to hold it.
What is your definition of chip load?
My definition of chip load is when the cutting edge reaches the surface, it has to pierce the surface. It has to break that surface and get underneath and scoop out, for lack of a better term. It has to scoop a chip out or shear a chip out. If you are running at a chip load of 1/1000th inch per tooth, that means that that tooth breaks the surface, scoops that chip out, and if you took that chip and flattened it out and measured it, it's 1/1000th thick. And what you really want to be aware of is that when you're using carbide, a lot of times you'll look at the recommendations, and for instance, if we'll use 1/1000th inch per tooth. If the recommendation is 1/1000 per tooth, a lot of people tend to say, and I've done this myself when I first started out, they say, well, if 1/1000th per tooth is good, I'll run it 2 or 3 times slower. It'll last 2 or 3 times longer. That's not the case. What you end up doing is, because there is no longer a chip being scooped out, it just starts to wear and rub and push the metal instead of actually shearing and getting that nice chip. And then what happens is the heat builds up in a matter of minutes. The cutting edge deteriorates, and the end mill either snaps or burns out right away. And then you call me up and say, "Hey, your tools suck." So, and then we go back to the chip load, and that's usually where the issue lies.
I was under the impression in the old days that we had to run carbide either submerged or totally dry. We couldn't put a spray mist on it because it would crack the cutters.
You're correct.
What was the question?
That with carbide you had to run it dry, otherwise when the coolant hit it, you would experience thermal cracking. And that was true because back then, probably about 15 years ago, the grain size of the carbide was much larger, and you could not get the same molecular structure that you would with a high-speed steel cutter. But now the carbide industry has come along so far. The grain size is so small and the powder is so small that you can get a very fine, dense carbide product, and it is much stronger, tougher, harder, and it's not affected by coolant any longer. That's also the reason why you can use carbide on aluminum projects, because when I was coming up the ranks as a machinist, everybody says if you're going to cut aluminum, you have to have high-speed steel, and you never used carbide. And that was because, again, the grain size was too large to be able to get a very dead sharp cutting edge on the carbide back then. Now, due to the advances in carbide, you can get a perfectly dead sharp cutting edge on carbide, and you'll have no problem in aluminum at all.
I want to thank Carl again for coming. Any other questions? Feel free to throw your hand up. If not, again, Carl's back there at the bench. Tooling is a big deal for us. I want to feel like I'm confident in what I'm doing, that I'm making good parts. Making a chip is the single biggest thing I've learned. The example that I like to use now is, think about using a shovel or an excavator. You don't use an excavator to skim across the top and just take a 1/4 inch off the topsoil. You use that bucket and you scoop in. You let those cutters cut. The machine's going to take it.
when you see even a machine as small as the 440 with the shear hog, sorry, Carl, not a Lakeshore tool, we're taking a 15 thou per tooth cut. 15 thou. If you had told me that 2 years ago, first off, I probably wouldn't have understood what that meant. But it's crazy. So don't be scared. More people break tools because they baby them than actually taking a real cut. So we would welcome feedback. We're happy to do more videos. You know, Carl is probably guilty of being too nice of a guy and spending too much time on the phone with every single person that calls. And that's one of the values of our partnership, is trying to get the videos out there so that everybody can see and learn. But again, we really appreciate it. Thanks for coming out, Carl.
Thank you.
Okay, so Yvonne, my wife, she's not listening. George, I can tell it's George. Yvonne, I want to say thank you to my wife. My wife is great. She lets me do what I love. Sometimes I work probably more and longer hours than I should, which is probably no different than most people in this room, but I really appreciate it. As you guys know from the channel, she was willing to take a risk and move back to Zanesville, Ohio, where I grew up about 2 years ago. We love it here. We have our 2-year-old son, William. We've got another one due in August. Life is good. My sister, Katie, raise your hand. She flew out from New York. She came to the open house last year. I didn't even think I would need her as much as I do. She is phenomenal. She really helps out. It's great to see her. Katie, thank you for coming out. Jared Pickrell, where are you, bud? He's probably working. Jared has been great. You guys have started to see him on the channel. Jared served in the Marines. He was a machinist. He was a welder. He came on full-time here last year. He's been great. He made a lot of the parts on our sort of brag table right there. I really appreciate what Jared does. You know, for me, it's the can-do attitude. You just get it done. You learn it. You figure it out. You have a good attitude. You stay excited. So, Jared, I hope you can hear this if you're around. But I really want to say thank you and give her a hand for Jared. There's a number of other people. There's 4 guys here that have worked for our family farm and around and helped me out a lot. Nolan, Casey, Liam, and Chase. My parents who have helped with so many little things getting ready for this. I really want to say thank you to everybody. It's really a team effort. And when I started to see the enrollment hit 100, then 200, then 300, and then I think last night when I went to bed it was at 391 people. Yeah, awesome. So thank you guys. Tormach, you know, sort of our key sponsor, a big part of our story. Matt and Chris are out here from Tormach. We love the machines. We love using them. We love showing them off. We love the stories that other people have, and it's to hear so many people today say, hey, the last guy that came up to me was talking about making a radio frequency filter out of machining material with, 1 thou tolerances to filter in and out. I mean, it's awesome, crazy. I love their motto is enabling your idea. It's kind of corny, but it's exactly what I love. So thank you to Tormach for coming out and for being part of our story. American Rotary is here, 20 horsepower phase converter. I don't even think I asked what the retail is. Is Chris or Dave around here? But it's in the thousands of dollars, and that they donated for the raffle. So I really want to thank American Rotary. Very generous, a great company, a good story of manufacturing in America. They're out of Wisconsin. They've been generous with us. I really appreciate that. FlexArm, you guys saw the Chris, thank you, bud. Appreciate it. You saw FlexArm. They donated a FlexArm to Mid-East Machining. It's the local high school machining program. They're here. They support us. We really appreciate it. Lakeshore Carbide, you just heard from. Thank you, guys. We've got a number of people that gave smaller items that are awesome as well. This is your last chance, folks. We're going to do about an hour-long little talk here. If you're interested in getting a raffle ticket for any of these items, you can talk to Anthony Adornetto. Anthony, raise your hand. Or my sister. They've got the raffle tickets. I almost forgot. Autodesk, who like 2 weeks ago said, why don't we just donate a MacBook Air? Because MacBooks run Fusion 360. And I said, thank you. That is incredible. So they gave a bunch of swag and an Apple MacBook Air, which is awesome. So we appreciate Autodesk's support. Fusion 360 has become a big part of our story because it is free for hobbyists, free for, I think they call it, people that make under $100,000 a year. What's funny to me is the pay version is still, they confuse me on what their pay scheme is, but like $25 a month. It's awesome. We love it. We've heard some great Fusion 360 stories here today. I will be out along with a bunch of other guys. Hi, Judd. In Southern California at the Bar Z Summer Bash. Jim, when is that? Do you know June? June 25th. So if anybody here is from the West Coast or wants an excuse to go to Rancho Cucamonga, California, should be a good event. It's a great turnout, very similar to this. Should be a good time. Yeah. And thank you guys for coming. I've started to realize that this YouTube channel is my one little chance to change the world. And seeing young kids, older folks of any age, guys that are weekend warriors, working on the nights, learning how to make stuff, just crushing it. And that is awesome. It gives me that energy that makes me thrive and love what I do day in and day out. So thank you. I feed off this energy. So thank you guys for coming today and making this event happen. If I can ask Jim Bollinger, Adam Booth, Dale Derry, James Dressman, if you don't mind, James Green, John Grimsmo, and Tom Zelikman to come on up here. These are guys that I'm proud to count as my friends now. We all have different experiences, background sets, and what's cool is that we email, we Facebook, we help each other out, whether it's on machining stuff, on how to get stuff done, on YouTube stuff. So to me, this event is about more than the NYC CNC channel. It's about you guys and being able to see these guys. These guys came from all over the place. So I want to thank them for coming down. And I thought we'd just sort of turn it over to you guys. What do you guys want to ask and hear about? And we'll open it up. Sound good? And after this, we'll do the – thank you, Dale. After this, we'll do the drawing for the auction. I'm going to try to keep it snappy because I have a thing when drawings get drawn out. But I'm really excited to find out who won some of those prizes. And my wife's telling me to hurry up. So who's got the first question for someone? Carl.
When you made the clamps, there were 2 videos I saw. I got the feeling I missed a lot of the videos. There were other videos maybe on it. Is there someplace other than the normal Wednesday, Friday where there are videos?
I will do a playlist because I do believe there were more than 2 videos. If anyone didn't catch the DIY clamp series, that's a great lesson on learning how to manage your website inventory limit. I woke up, we'd asked that people would pay the shipping and handling just as a way to, have some skin in the game. But we would give this clamp away as a way to pay back. And I woke up and I looked over at my wife because I saw $1,800 in our PayPal account from shipping only. And you know what? You do it. Hi, Steve. And so I'll take a look. But it was a fun project.
So if I wanted to start a YouTube channel For me, I guess.
Hold the mic a little closer.
Sorry, I'll hold it uncomfortably close now. So if I want to start a YouTube channel, for me, when I do things, I kind of plan like, oh, I've got to have this in place before I actually do this, because no one's gonna want to watch me until I, like it's not gonna be as polished as your videos or your videos. I mean, it won't be. What would be the best way to start? What do you think the good first move is to,
That's a great question, and thank you, because I tried my best. I practiced a little bit yesterday. I rehearsed a little this morning, and I forgot my plan, which is I'm gonna ask that all my fellow YouTube guys up here introduce themselves and talk shortly about what their channel is and what they do. The cool thing is I think we have a little bit of a different audience than some of these guys, so I think that's cool because you guys may have a chance to check out new channels, new skill sets, and so forth. So, John, you want to start, and then we'll have you guys run down and introduce yourselves and what your channel is and what it's about?
And to answer your question real quick is you just start. You just turn on the camera and you put it at yourself. Like, when I started, I used to film just what I was doing, little things in front of me. I had like 50 subscribers over 6 years of YouTubing. And then, seriously, and then you turn the camera around, you're like, hi, I'm John Grimsmo. This is kind of weird, but, let's make something together. And then it's like 51, and then 52, and then 100, and then 200 over months. Like, it doesn't happen right away, but it starts to grow that way. You just got to start. You can't be too afraid. Everybody's been telling me recently paralysis by analysis because I'm trying to make everything too perfect. But you just start. That's the thing. So anyway, I'm John Grimsmo. My brother and I have a YouTube channel. It's John Grimsmo on YouTube. We make pocket knives. And we love CNC machining, just like all these, or some of these guys. Machining, anyway. Yeah, and I'm obsessed with precision and perfection and just trying to make the absolute best product that I can. My brother and I came up with kind of a goofy tagline yesterday is we don't want to be the best knife makers in the world. We just want to make better knives than everybody else. So, we go to the knife shows, we learn from everybody else. And we film everything that we do, and we share like 95% of what we do, all the good, all the bad, all the breakages, all the good parts, and we try to educate while we do it because we want to promote DIY, like have fun. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur now for 16 years, and I've been profitable for like 2 of those years. So it takes time, but I feel like we're finally getting to the point now where we have something that's tangible, something that's real. We're making an impact on other people, and it's a lot of fun. So that's me.
John's being very modest. If you guys don't know, his knives are so coveted that he can put one up on a website, not make any announcement, and within maybe
a minute.
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Someone has been hitting refresh for like a month straight and buys it.
Yeah.
So John, like me, really without being presumptuous, started with no knowledge, like self-taught.
No, totally self-taught. Zero education. Straight up entrepreneur.
Yeah. So thanks for coming, John.
No problem. I'm super happy to be here.
So my name is Dale Derry. I have a YouTube channel called Metal Tips and Tricks. And the goal to my channel is you don't have to own every piece of tooling to get the job done. I try to show you simple shortcuts because sometimes good enough is just good enough. I mean, we can mill things or grind things down to 10,000ths of an inch. Well, that's kind of overkill. So what I try to show you on my channel is a simpler way to get things done without having all the machinery. Now, your question I thought was excellent. How do you get started? How many other people want to do a YouTube channel here?
Awesome.
Okay. Now, you mentioned how polished some of us look. Go back into the beginning of all of our channels. Actually, please, those are going to be deleted, I know. But the real goal is on anything is to just get started. I look at my channel and my goal is not to do great videos. My goal is to learn how to do great videos. So I allow a lot of mistakes in what I do, in my editing and my production and how I speak and stuff. Because if I try to go for perfection, I'll never get the video out. And my goal is to get a video out every week. And if you guys don't know, that's very time consuming. for me, I shoot sometimes 3 cameras. You only need to shoot one. Evidence of all these guys up here is for every minute of a video, it takes an hour of work. So if I do a 10-minute video, it is 10 hours that I'm not spending in the shop. But it's worth it because I get the comments from you guys, those positive comments. Very worth it. Now, I also want to mention one other thing is, now I get this question is, we make money off of YouTube, very little, but you guys can help us out. I was invited to the YouTube offices over in San Francisco, and I asked how we get paid and how that works out. If you guys watch the commercial in the front for the first 30 seconds, we make more money. I love that. We got some thumbs up. Okay? Think about that is don't click on the fast forward until after 30 seconds. Not 29, but 30 seconds. And that'll really help us out. Now, I can't say that on my channel. YouTube gets mad at me. But I just want to let you guys know. And we just really want to say thanks for all your subscribership and all your comments.
Hi, my name's Jim Bollinger. I have a channel, Do Right Fabrication, and I'd like to say there is a whole lot of people standing here staring at me than there was a couple of minutes ago when Dale was talking. I want to say that my channel is the reason I started my channel is because of education. I'm a self-taught welder. I bought my first welding machine at 14 years old with my lawn mowing money. There was nobody to teach me. The first time I ever held a TIG torch in my hand was when I bought my first TIG welder. Now we have this thing called YouTube. Well, I'm a child of the 70s. That tells you about how old I am. There was no such thing as YouTube back then. So by coming up with cool projects, cool ideas, cool things I see, I try to incorporate something that's a little bit interesting, a little bit fun, and a lot educational in my videos. And it's kind of weird that it worked out this way, but I don't know if you guys saw that there was a video that came out this week, and I'm really between the two guys who I was in the video with. And it also has become a good community of good friends on YouTube. I made a lot of good friends, a lot of connections, and a lot of people that have helped me boost my channel. And with no further ado, Mr. Adam Booth.
Hey guys, welcome to the shop. My name's Adam Booth. I got a YouTube channel called ABomb79, and I'm surprisingly nervous right now. I'm really nervous right now. I'm usually in front of my camera with nobody watching me until the video comes out. You're not helping, buddy. But I just want to give a big thanks to everybody that's come out here. I've got a very warm welcome from everybody here. Had a lot of people come up and talk to me, and I've really appreciated meeting everybody and meeting so many people that watch my videos and getting to hear your story and how you feel about the videos and what you like about the videos. And everybody that's been telling me, I always wanted to do machine work, and now that I'm watching your videos, I was inspired. So I got out and bought some machines, and now I do it. So it's really great hearing from everybody. And again, I really appreciate everybody coming up and talking to me. It's been great. And John, thanks for the invite up here. So I don't know what else you want to know about me, about the, as far as the channel goes, kind of leading into that first question there. I was posting pictures on practicalmachinist.com. A lot of you might know about that forum. And I was posting pictures there of my daily work, and everybody seemed to really enjoy the pictures. And I enjoyed sharing those pictures and the stories involved with them. And a couple years after that, I had an interest in getting a camera, and that's whenever the GoPros were getting popular. So I was like, let me get a GoPro camera and try to capture some of this machining on the machines, on the mill and the lathe. Some of these guys might like to see that. So I did a couple videos, and quickly after that, I decided I want to do a little bit more. So I did an introduction video and introduced myself to the YouTube world, and it just went off from there. And I never imagined that it was going to be as successful as it is now. So it's really turned out awesome, and I appreciate everybody's support. And I'm going to continue to try to bring out those videos every week that I can. It's on its way. It's going to be out today. I got 2 new videos coming out today. I spent some time working on this week and got those done and got them uploaded. So I'd have some new videos for this week. So thanks a lot, everybody.
All right, so how do I follow that? Hey, my name's Tom Zellickman from Inspiration Metalworks. Closer. Hey, I'm Tom Zellickman from Inspiration Metalworks, and you're right, this is rather uncomfortably close, but to answer your question, that's the first thing that you got to work on. Good audio, right? The video part of it, I learned the hard way. Focus on the audio. But my channel is a little different from these guys, so I'm really more of the home hobbyist. I work in education. I'm not trying to teach people these things. Actually, I watch their videos to learn how to do things. And I make my videos as much for me to go back and look at what I did and see if I was doing it the right way, and often not. But also to share it and say, hey, guys, you know, just because you don't have all those tools or the equipment, or you don't have the training, or someone, as in my case, said, no, you really, if you like to work with your hands, or you should be an engineer, you shouldn't be doing this other stuff. And my whole life, people kept driving me this other direction when I realized that my passion was actually doing machine work. And so for me, this is almost like a therapy. I get done with my day job, and I go out in the shop, or my wife kicks me out into the shop. It's like, go, get away, do something fun for a while. And so I decided to start sharing those videos. And so if you guys get a chance and want to see some of those videos, it's Inspiration Metalworks, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for the lead in there, having to follow Adam. But thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Hello, everybody. My name is James Green. Short, serious shenanigans. Kind of sitting down one day, thinking about, hey, you know, because I was doing some videos, and you guys wanted to say, what do I got to do as to start out? Right here. This was my, well, not this one. You can actually start out with your phone. Set it, you know, on the side. I nearly burned up my first Samsung phone. Just start out, you know, everybody's pretty much got a phone, and I did mine. I start off with first. Just a simple, you know, you got to watch the time, but you can use that to start off with. Again, like all the other guys have said, get in front of, tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a retired Army guy, did my time, got out. Got to find something to keep yourself busy. Now, I approach things from a standpoint of, like these other guys do, sharing your knowledge, skills, and abilities. Me, I was fortunate enough to grow up and have a father and grandfather that learn any and everything you can to always keep yourself employed, because they grew up in the Dust Bowl in the Southwest. So I realized after I retired, I wanted to keep myself busy doing stuff. So one thing that I always had a problem with, because I have a combat-related injury due to what I did, so I have problems with my right arm. So I always thought, you know what, I want to make sure that when I do this, because there's other people out there, I have fellow veterans that I'm always doing stuff for. I even have a buddy of mine, you know, he wasn't able to make it today. He does his machining, everything from a wheelchair. You guys might know him. His name is Dale Spalding, and he does all that. So I always try to approach it, okay, it's not just machining, and I enjoy doing a lot of gunsmithing, building stuff from hand, and I like to be able to show everything, what I'm doing, an easiest way to do it, rather than just showing a machine running. Always something new and exciting, because I get so many emails of people from all over the world. Thank you for taking the time to show us how to do this. Just like other people have mentioned, YouTube University, same thing here. Don't know about it? Figure it out. And so one thing I've learned that helped me, I believe, with my videos, being an NCO in the Army, and those of you that were in, you understand, the NCOs were always training soldiers. So you're always giving classes, and it's like, okay, well, I already had this skill here. So again, like Adam said, it's kind of weird at first. All I can say is get in there, pull out your phone and just create I started off with a little cheap, inexpensive, mag mount and a small little squeeze clamp, and that'll hold your phone. And you can practice doing your videos, just talking in the mirror. That's usually the biggest thing. And as other people have said, it takes a lot of time. The way I choose to do my videos is shoot, and then upload. I shoot what I found works best for me, depending on where you're at. You don't have a great internet connection. I found that works best for me, MP4 format, you know, and depending on where you're at, some of your viewers, they don't have a great internet connection. So if it's in HD, they might not be able to watch the video, or it takes them a long time to download the video to be able to watch it. So that's one thing I really put into my thought process is, number one, it's a simple format. It uploads easily, and I can go in and edit. I always think what has really, really helped me so that I don't have to go back and edit. And I always joke on my videos, live and unedited. You know, we've all had those moments like when Adam, I think that was the best one I ever seen, when he was running the mill and he spun that nut off, making the one part. You know what I'm talking about. But it's live and unedited. You know, you make your mistakes, and it's like, hey, you know what? I'm not perfect, and you share them, you know. But I always like to, what helps me is preparation, thinking about, okay, what you're going to do, pre-planning and thinking the whole process, kind of just do a dry run through the whole thing before you actually do it. Or if you're going to make a couple of the same parts, so that you figure out the errors first so you're not wasting a lot of time. Time management, do one off, and just act like the camera's running. And just, okay, so you know you make those mental notes, all right? I messed this up. I know when I do the next one, this is how I can go about when I actually go to shoot the video. So it saves you editing time if you want to take the time to sit down and edit, or do like what I do. I'm eventually going to, with Tom's help, eventually sit down and start doing the nice editing and having the intros, and so it makes it a little bit more appealing. But me, that's just the way I've chosen to do it, because it works well for me, and it's a simple format. I've done it so much that it just, and you polish, you go back. Like I said, look at my channel way back when it first started and everybody else's. You can see how it's slowly progressed. It's nothing that you're going to get right the first time. You're going to make a ton of mistakes, but that's how you learn, you know. So that would be my recommendation. If you want to start your YouTube channel, here's your first camera right here. Pull you out a smartphone, and you can just clamp it up there and just start shooting your video. Now, what I recommend, so you don't burn up your phone and have to warranty it, limit it to 10, 15 minutes, because they do get hot. Plug them in, same thing. They'll get hot and shut off, I know that. But that's what I would recommend. That's how you can start your YouTube channel. And practice and go back and watch your own videos. That's what I did. Okay, well, I know I need to move the camera. I was only videoing myself from here down or from here over, you know, framing. So that's how it gives you a chance to, and you can have it to where you can have it where you can see yourself in the phone. Practice, practice, practice. That's the best thing. And then once you get to that point where you feel comfortable, like John Grimsmo had said, as soon as you turn that camera on yourself, then it's like I always thought about, you know, the HAL 9000. How are we doing today, James? How are we going to do? But you're your own worst critic. How are people going? And everybody I've ever seen had the same thing. They're worried about, how is this going to affect me? You know what? And I'll say this, haters are going to be haters no matter what. But you know what? As long as you're willing to share your knowledge, skills, and ability, you know, I started watching his videos way back, and he was the one of the people that got me hooked on doing YouTube videos. And I thought, okay, well, if he can do it, then I should definitely be able. Honestly, I thought as soon as I saw it, I was like, wow, okay, this is just normal Joe Blow. And so that's kind of how it all.
Just be yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
People want to see you, you know?
Yeah. And so that's what I do, you know. All I can say is the biggest reason I chose to do my channel, sharing my knowledge, skills, and ability. I mean, I've learned so much, but it's like there was so much that I was taught that I want to be able to get it out there. So there you go. Yeah, got a question? Actually, Power Director 13. I haven't started using it yet. He's actually been helping me with it. Because Power Director 13, Adam, I think that you use that too, don't you, Adam? Or he's got 14. Yeah, Power Director. So that's something that I've never been exposed to video editing software. I started using what they had out there as far as Microsoft and YouTube, and I just wasn't happy with it. And I'm about no nonsense. I want to get it done and upload and quick. And so the way I do mine right now, that just works simple and fast. I call it the down and dirty version, but I've done so much prep work ahead of time, and I've taught countless numbers of classes to soldiers. So I've already got that skill set behind me that I was able to bring from being in the military, if you're always teaching your soldiers something. So that's what I've used as far as being able to, I guess, think on my feet and fly and think it out ahead of time. You know, you're always going to be your worst critic, but as long as you're getting the information out there, that's the key thing. It's just that's my weak point right now, and I recognize that, is learning how to sit down and learn how to use the video editing software.
Hi, I'm James from War Machine LLC. I don't have any magic bullets to convey to you about making YouTube videos other than to just do it. Nobody cares, especially at first, nobody cares what it's going to look like. You might care a lot, but no one else cares. And basically just, like I said, just do it. Other people probably say the same thing, just do it. It doesn't matter. There's not a whole, it's not rocket science at first. You can practice the spit and polish later on. The important thing is to just start filming, just get it on camera. And the reason I started doing it was not really to be a big YouTube, content producer, but basically as a personal log of my own work, just so I can go back and instead of looking through my notebooks, whether this machining strategy worked or this, why did I do it that way? I could go back and watch the video and say, oh, that's why, because it had so much chatter or whatever, or I did that this way because of that, and I have it all on camera. That's the reason I started doing it, and it was funny because, I actually do have a little bit of a video background in college. I was part of a team that made a feature-length video. Feature-length film took 4 years to make, and it was every little detail was hashed out. But when I started YouTube, I threw all that out the window. I didn't care about any of the details. I just wanted to get the camera rolling to, get down what I was doing so I could refer to it personally. Other people seem to like it, so, that very well may happen. But that wasn't my goal. My goal wasn't to be a big YouTube content creator. So what I have on my channels is just kind of a personal journey, sort of like John Grimsmo over there. And I actually didn't catch him until much later in my journey, but it was very refreshing to see that he was one of the guys. After searching YouTube for so long for just machining stuff, when I was trying to teach myself machining, completely self-taught like these guys, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff. Wasn't a whole lot of content out there of mistakes. It seemed like everyone was so good at it, and every time someone made something, it was the perfect part the first time right off the machine. And when I started machining, I was like, I must be stupid or something. I can't get this to work right at all. So, but it was refreshing to see John post his mistakes up there, and I thought, well, that's perfect because I learned 10 times more from mistakes than I do from successes, really. And in fact, that kind of translates into your YouTube viewership. People care much more about your tool crashes than they do about you successfully making a part. If you want to get a lot of subscribers, just start crashing a bunch of tools. That's what people want to see. So make sure you have the camera rolling to catch those crashes, because you're not intentionally going to do that, but they'll happen. They'll absolutely happen. Just have that camera rolling when they do. That's pretty much all I have to say.
Say hi, everybody.
Who's up? Questions?
All right, so I've got two questions. One for basically everyone up there, and it was kind of covered a little bit, and one for Grismo. I'll start out with that one. I remember seeing you had a few videos about Timascus, I think it was. Is that right? Okay, I couldn't find anything about what it actually was. Is it different alloys that are welded together, or?
Timascus is made from 2 different types of titanium, sometimes 3 different kinds, like CP titanium and 6Al4V, and they're forge welded together to create this like beautiful sea-looking ocean pattern.
Yeah.
And then when you anodize it with heat, it changes color, so you get like blues and bronze.
Okay, so it's heat anodized then?
Yeah, exactly.
Because one of the things I want to do is I actually recently purchased an old truck, and I want to do YouTube videos restoring it, and I also want to get into blacksmithing and do YouTube videos doing that. So that's one of the things I was interested in. Then, as I want to do YouTube videos, my question to the whole board of YouTube creators is, what do you use to edit your videos?
I use Sony Vegas, and it's way over the top for what I need. I mean, most of the stuff I'm doing is just cuts, edit, like sharpen a little bit, put music to it, and it's all just like shortening clips together. You don't need all the filters and all this other junk. So most systems probably work.
I use Apple's Final Cut Pro. I think I don't know if it's $99 or $299. It's overkill for what I use. It lets me really easily sync 2 or 3 cameras, which really helps. And I had a really awkward moment last year when I was sitting at a dinner table with Dale Derry, and he was talking about an hour per minute. And I was like, oh, my God, I do like 2 minutes per minute. You seriously, you don't have to spend that much time. Dale has a background in photography and being a perfectionist. His videos are great, but I get it done. Like I try to make them good, but I edit fast. So
I do not edit fast, but we have different goals. I use Final Cut Pro 10. I'm a Mac person. How many people are Mac people? Yeah, our numbers are dwindling, but it's easier.
So let me say this. There's a reason I don't run a CNC machine, and that's because I fix a computer with a hammer. I'm very blessed that I have a business partner who edits my videos for me because I get very frustrated very quickly. So I know that he uses the same thing that Dale uses, the Apple Cut Pro. Is that what you said? Final Cut Pro on the Apple.
I use Power Director 14, and I've been using Power Director ever since I started making the videos. Whenever I started making videos, I knew nothing about how to make a video whatsoever. So I'm completely self-taught, and I did a little research, and I found that Power Director was like a top-ranked video editing software. So I bought it and started using it and just figured out how to use it, and you've seen my videos, so that's that's what I use, Power Director 14.
So I actually have a background in video editing as part of the education training that I have. So I've used a variety of tools over the years. When I started making them for myself, though, much like James brought up, I realized that I didn't have time to go through and do all of the crazy things because I was doing it on top of my day job, on top of trying to take care of 2 kids and family time and everything else. So I definitely don't have that same ratio as Dale. I'm closer to John's, I think. But currently I use Final Cut on the Mac. I think Power Director, if you're a Windows user, Power Director is a great option as well. But I've done, actually for a while, I was just using iMovie, just the built-in stuff. I've done stuff with Windows Movie Maker before. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money to do editing and get good tools. It's after you're into it and doing a bit more and you decide you want to start to polish and refine what your videos look like, that's when I'd start worrying about which software to use. Unless you're really really serious about it, you really don't need to spend a whole lot of money on that part of it.
As I said earlier, I use Power Director 13 to kind of caveat this to what the other gentlemen have been saying here. A couple things that I have learned that, like he said, depending on the camera, and I started out with my phone. What I have noticed, a couple of things, and I have issue with it at times, and I'm sure other people do. If you have a hearing impairment, or let's say English is not your first language, because you got to remember, your videos are going to go around all over the world. So having good sound, being able to speak clearly, and just be aware that, the better you think things out ahead of time is going to cut down on your video editing time. Like I've said earlier, I shoot and upload. I don't video edit because that's just the style I choose. I think everything out ahead of time. And for those of you that have watched my channel and have seen mess ups, or a lot of times I misspeak. You say what you're thinking instead of what it should be. So just thinking ahead, pre-planning. Again, doesn't matter the camera, just you know, pick a good one that has a good microphone. You don't have to go fancy with expensive microphones. Mine, I have a lot of people ask because my camera has a good microphone. It's a Canon Viexa. I got it at Costco, under $200. Works great. That's what I have. So
I use Adobe Premiere 6, and just like he was saying, you know, just your setup time, or you know, kind of pre-planning the video out will save you a lot of time in editing, especially if you can kind of film it in a certain sequence. It's easy when you upload those videos to put them in the timeline. They're already roughly in sequence. You know, and that's very useful, especially when you have lots of videos that look the same. You know, instead of having to go back and scrub each one and look at each one and figure out where they belong in the timeline, if you kind of film roughly in sequence, most of the work is done for you. Also, maybe I'm a little bit unique in this aspect, but 99% of my videos are dubbed when I'm talking, and that's mainly because I found out pretty quick that in my garage, my camera picks up all the audio that's going on in the garage except my voice. So, so I started doing the dubbing, but then I realized, you know, this has multiple benefits. One is that I can actually, since those audio lines are separated, I can tone down the sound of the machine, which can be, you know, annoying when someone's watching YouTube, and then you can amp up the sound of your voice. So really the important information you're trying to convey is getting across without a whole lot of background noise. Also, you know, it's very easy to just go back and edit your overdub. So if you misspeak about something, or I don't know, maybe you just go off on a tangent, it's easy to just go back and cut it out of the video. So I'm not sure, you know, all of my videos are done that way. I'm not sure who else kind of follows that format, but it works for me. Maybe it's not the best way to do it, but it works for me. That's a good question. I thought about doing that myself just because of my garage picking up all the background noise. I haven't done it yet, but you know, that is a good point.
I use the Rode mic, and I've learned that it's a directional mic. So there's times in my videos where I might sound a little muffled, and it's because I haven't turned the mic to face my voice. I might be pointing it the other way, looking at the machine work, and I'm not even realizing that I'm talking to you, and the mic's pointing the other way. But that Rode mic, it works really good, and it seems to really help my audio in my videos.
I had a quick question. For the people that do use a wireless mic, is there a specific brand that you recommend? Because I've tried the Rode, I've tried some other ones. Is there just one you say, go with this because it eliminates a lot of background noise in a garage, or something along that way?
My experience is you'll spend a lot more to get a good wireless mic. We use a wireless Audio-Technica that's a few $100. That same microphone in a wired form is the one we also use a lot. It's on Amazon for $30. It is like broadcast quality sound. So if you want to, I don't know the model number, but Google or Amazon Audio-Technica lav mic, $30, you know, move on. The only reason I would push to a wireless is if you're using it in front of a lathe or a machine where you really shouldn't have a wired. Next question.
How do you select the music so you don't violate copyright and other things like that?
We have bought a few things off of premiumbeats.com. It's about $50, a little bit more if you buy the like add-on shorter clips, and they have all the licensing figured out. YouTube is a little bit of a pain in the ass because if it's not a clear source, they can flag you, and I don't know what your guys' experiences are, but unfortunately they're enough of a force where I don't want to deal with like the risk of using music that was not potentially clearly sourced and so forth. So it's funny because we all love YouTube for what it's done to us, but there's some stuff where it could be frustrating with how they kind of police you. Anybody else want to add to that?
I get a lot of questions and comments about the music in my videos, so I just thought this would be a good chance to say it. I use the free music from YouTube. When you go to your video manager, at the very bottom left side, there's a little icon that says Create. It used to be called Creator Studio. You click that and you go in, and there's 100% free music that you can download to your computer and use on your videos. And there is also copyrighted music that you can use in there also. And I've learned that some of that copyright material is now, they consider that, oh, now I forget the term, but you both can make revenue off of using some of the music in there. But there is a source in there that is 100% free music that you can download, and that's what you hear on my videos.
So one thing to add with anytime you're using someone else's content, it's about giving attribution to that source, right? So for audio, there's tons of free audio. You know, there's one that I use. In fact, on the video I posted last night, it is an open source. It's Creative Commons, which means that anyone can use it. In fact, this one is listed. It basically says you can use this as much as you'd like, but you have to say that it's mine. Right? Yeah. So in my description of my video, it says, you know, that the song is called Test Drive, and this is who it's from, and you know, and it's used with permission under Creative Commons license, right? So that's the big thing, is just being aware of that there's different levels of permission to use things. Even with those songs that you purchase, look at the rules around that purchase. It might be you can use it for that one video, and then you have to license it again for a second video, right? So, but leverage those open source methods, or those the free methods of doing it. It's all about attribution, right? Let people know that it wasn't yours to begin with.
Just one thing I wanted to add: if you know of any musicians as friends, I think it's okay to tap that talent. All the music that I have on my videos, which isn't much, I don't do a lot of music, but it's all a friend of mine did that for me. So I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. And there's lots of musicians out there, so if you know them, maybe just ask them if they wouldn't mind coming up with a little lick for your videos or something.
I will say this in reference to, because I did run into it early on in my channel. I made the mistake of having the radio playing in the background, although ever so lightly. I got a very nasty email from YouTube letting me know that, hey, so essentially I ended up removing that video because it was early on, because I didn't have permission to, I didn't really think about it, but it was playing in the background ever so lightly. Also, to kind of caveat off that about making sure references are noted, it's like you guys, some guys have great sponsors out here. Me, like stuff that I use, if I'm using it, if I say a name, I say I bought it, because I made the mistake one time as I just mentioned something and I didn't say whether I bought it or whether they gave it to me, and that company contacted me, emailed me and said, you need to cease and desist. You do not have permission to use our name on your YouTube videos. And so if you have any questions, further contact the number. And it was their law offices, and they're like, yeah, we ran across, and they're like, are you and I was like, well, I bought this stuff. Well, you need to say so. So that was kind of a real raw slap in the face, is if anytime you say you use a product, hey, I purchased this, I'm telling it about because I enjoy it, or hey, they're giving this me to sponsor because, so it's like citing references, not just music, but products. What else have you run into like that, John?
In some respects, it's kind of a whole new world. And my response to what you had, James, is you'll get companies that think they know the law, that send you letterhead on fancy lawyers, and they may be wrong, and most of us aren't going to hire a law firm to refute that. So it's on a case-by-case basis, which I'm not going to get into here, but a lot of it just has to do with be a good person. Don't be a shill, and You know, we do what we love. Like, that's clear. None of us are up here trying to, you know, shill products for somebody else for hire. It's almost 2 o'clock. I think I would love to continue doing this for a few more minutes. Everybody cool with that? If you do want to get raffle tickets, though, in the next, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, we'll start drawing names to the raffle. Yeah, let's do some rapid fire, guys. One question. Tell us who you want to answer it, and we'll get through some questions. Who's up? Blue shirt.
Okay. I've been very fortunate to have a mentor machinist, and I'm getting a lot of his equipment that he's not using anymore. Better? This also pertains to people who go to flea markets and stuff. How do you know when a piece of equipment, used equipment, should be left in the trash bin and not tried to recondition, rebuild?
I heard you say the word flea market, so with that.
Everybody says I have a good flea market. I find it hard to believe there's no other good flea markets around this country. I don't exactly find machines at the flea market, but I, you know, run across machines here and there. For me personally, if I was to see a machine that I can visually see that needs a lot of work and a lot of attention, and it's got a lot of wear and a lot of slop and a lot of slack here and there and parts missing off of it, I may not have any interest in that. I might just want to pass on that. If it's something that I know that I can use, put a little bit of work into it and clean it up, I'm not really worried about how pretty it is, paint job, but as long as it works good and does its job, then I'd be happy to use that machine.
This question is for everybody. John. Grimsmo.
Yes?
What advice do you have for a young person who wants to start a business?
Fail fast. Don't be afraid to fail. Just make as much traction as you can, as fast as you can. Show it to everybody. Get advice fast. You know, you want it to be perfect, but it's not going to be perfect for like 2 years. So just move. I need to tell myself that 5 years ago.
Next question. Sitting down?
This question is for you, Grimsmo. You got the new mill, okay? There's lots of people that would give you a lot of money if they get their hands on your knives, but they can't. I cannot tell you how many times I get the email notifications and I look at the website and, oh, they're gone. So the question is, what are you going to do to pick up production?
Efficiency and just keeping the mill running. Like, I spend too much time trying to perfect the product. I just need to make the product. Some of these guys are good about just belting out parts. I can't do that. I don't know why. I'm too much of a perfectionist. So I need to take my own advice and just move. But we're working on it. In the next few months, we're going to bust up production a lot.
That raises a good point, which I kind of want to mention to anyone out here. It's very strange to me to think that what I've done or John or other people is inspiring to you, because it's still very much in the present. But it is true. I mean, 10 years ago, in 2006, I did not know what a Bridgeport machine was. And I've gotten to this point. John Grimsmo can't keep these knives in stock. These guys have had YouTube channels that have had tons of success. You know, two channels that come to mind, AVE and ClickSpring. Those channels are channels that have now hitting hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and they're relatively new. So don't think that YouTube is too crowded now, really. And don't think that you can't be a nobody and all of a sudden come up with a company that's becoming a leader in making knives out of your garage for the first 7 years. So really, like, just do it. Next question. No more questions? Shoot.
This is for A-Bomb. What's the most expensive part or tool that you've broken or messed up?
Tool or part?
Or machine.
Or machine. I've been pretty lucky. I haven't destroyed any machines. But I did tell a story about the prop shaft that I messed up in SNS 100, I believe it was. And I believe that's probably the most expensive part that I had to redo on my dad's dime. I want to say maybe about $1,500 worth. I've been pretty fortunate that I haven't had any major screw-ups, but there has been a few here and there.
I don't really have a question, but I just wanted to say something about, of course, going back when you all asked earlier about how you edit your videos and things like that. And when you're talking about just getting into putting your videos on YouTube, these guys are professionals. I mean, they know they put on a top-notch product. I put videos out somewhat. A lot of people tell me, they say, man, I see you do stuff, and I can't believe what you're doing. And, you know, I for you so people can get the idea that think that you do something, go out there and do it. And the same thing with the videos. You know, they take time and edit and all that stuff. My version of it pretty much comes down to cut and delete. You know, I film a bunch of stuff, and then I say, well, would I want to watch this or not? And if I don't, gone, it's trash. And then the rest just put up, and people watch it. Believe it or not, I don't know why, but you know, so I put it out there, and so just, I mean, you don't have to have a lot of stuff to be able to make the videos and put them out there and to be interesting. Just do it.
Oh, I just wanted to add one quick thing about the gentleman who brought up the business question. What I found is nobody cares what you think, and really nobody cares what your ideas are. They only care about what you do. So just do it. You know, to rip off Nike, just do it.
It's an interesting question because it could lead into a long conversation about how I run my business. And we're really happy to be in this shop, but we grew really, really slowly for a long time. And this shop is sort of the first thing that was a big leap for us. But I think too many people grow for the sake of growing. I'm happy to be in this shop. It's a great fit. But no, I'm not going to go crazy. One of the reasons I love the Tormach machines was when I started this out, it was a hobby, and I saved up my money. And it's funny because there's nothing wrong inherently with debt. I am a big Dave Ramsey fan. Sometimes he's a little bit too extreme, but there's nothing wrong with debt. It's that most people aren't in a position to take on the debt when they want to take it on. And, you know, at this point, maybe there would make sense in certain capacities to take on, you know, a way to grow your business with debt. But I like the fact that, you know, if I don't want to, this hasn't happened, but if I don't want to work for a week, I could not work for a week. And so I don't really strive. Trust me, I have Jared that works for me now, and even that has increased the amount of time I have to spend doing paperwork and managing stuff, and I'm now not the machinist. I'm kind of the QC guy, and it really changes your business, and it's a question of what do you want to become. I know John Grimsmo and I talk weekly, and he's been talking a lot about hiring somebody and what that role is. And it's exciting, but it changes what you do. It really does. So with that, we're all going to be hanging around here. Please feel free to come up, ask any of us questions. Let's do this, though. We're going to start drawing some names for the raffle. It's big boy rules. We're going to draw a number, and if you don't come back, we'll maybe draw one or two more tickets, and we'll try that number again. And if you aren't here, we're moving on, okay? There's some awesome prizes. I don't want someone to miss a prize because they weren't paying attention. Cool? Awesome.